in Buenos Aires. Prime Minister of India Mr. Narendra Modi, US President Mr. Donald Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Mr. Shinzo Abe on Friday met for the first trilateral meeting on the sidelines of G20 summit to discuss the major issues of global and multilateral interest. The meeting assumed importance in the wake of China flexing its muscles in the strategic Indo-Pacific region, asserting that India will continue to work together on shared values, said Modi. The Japan-America-India meeting in a trilateral dedicated to democratic values. Prime Minister of India also said that the meeting was a convergence of vision between the three nations. The Japanese Prime Minister said he was happy to participate in the first trilateral meeting. Trump appreciated India's growth story during the meeting.
Prime Minister Modi of India and, as you know, Prime Minister Abe of Japan, and we just had a great meeting, and we're having now what we call a trilateral. The relationships between our three countries extremely good, extremely strong. I think with India maybe stronger than ever, and with Japan, I think stronger than ever.
The leaders emphasized the importance of the cooperation among three countries on all major issues of the global and multilateral interests, such as connectivity, sustainable development, counter-terrorism, and maritime and cyber security. They shared their views on progressing a free, open, and conclusive and rule-based order in the Indo-Pacific region, based on the respect for international law and peaceful resolution for all differences. The trilateral meeting took place at a time when China is engaged in a hotly contested territorial dispute in the South China Sea and with Japan in the East China Sea. Both areas are said to be rich in minerals, oil, and other natural resources. China claims almost all of the South China Sea. Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan have overlapping the claims in the waterway, which includes the vital sea lanes through which about $3 trillion in global trade passes each year. The US has been conducting regular patrols in South China Sea to assert freedom of navigation in the area, where Beijing has built up and militarized many of the islands and the reefs it controls in the region. Prime Minister of India Mr. Modi, in his keynote addresses at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore in June, expounded India's stand on strategic Indo-Pacific region. India does not seek the Indo-Pacific region as a strategic or as a club of limited members, nor as a grouping that seeks to dominate, and by no means do we consider it as a director against any country. With geographical definitions such as cannot be had to be said. Mr. Modi, Trump, and Abe also agreed to cooperate in various ways and together with other countries. They also agreed on the importance of meeting in trilateral format at multilateral conferences. So what do you think of the trilateral meeting, which is basically based on China's South China Sea impact and the global trade war between the US and China and impact of import tax duties on all these three countries? Flying drones in India has become so stricter and also easier. The Director General of Civil Aviation has come out with strict rules to keep a tab on people operating remotely piloted aircraft systems, or the RPAS. Obtaining a license to operate a drone over 2 kg in weight will now cost you Rs 25,000. Renewing the license will come at Rs 10,000. Not only that, anyone flying these drones will need formal training to do so from DGCA-approved flying training organizations. These users, apart from the security agencies, must obtain a unique identification number, or the UIN. Next up, the DGCA has categorized RPAs into the 5 categories: nano, which is below 250 grams, micro from 250 grams to 2 kg, small from 2 to 25 kg, medium to 25 to 150 kg, and large above 150 kg. For imported RPAs, import clearance from DGCA and the import license from DGFC are required before applying for a UIN. according to the guidelines manual issued by the DGCA, says the chief BS Bular. People who want to operate these drones must be above 18 years of age, should have passed at least 10th exam in English, and should either obtain a security clearance from the Union Home Ministry or submit self-attached copies of at least 2 out of 3 valid identity proofs, passports, driving license or Aadhaar card, or the proof card of India, says manual. In case of foreign remote pilots employed by the Indian entity, the DGCA shall forward the documents for clearance to security agencies in accordance with the procedures being followed for foreign aircrew temporary authorizations pilot. The remote pilot training will not be needed for nano and micro category RPA pilots intending to operate in uncontrolled airspace. Finally, the flying permit. After getting the UIP number, the operators wishing to fly drones over 2 kg will have to apply for Unmanned Aircraft Operator Permit UAOP through the Digital Sky platform along the fee of Rs 25,000. However, the security agencies will not need this permit. Among documents required for this, permission of a land or property owner, details of remote pilots along with the security clearance from MHA. So what do you think of India finally putting some rules for flying domestic drones and foreign imported drones for civil, commercial or anything used as a toy also? Will this be helpful, or these are all protected rules than other countries including US, European Union and China? SpaceX, the rocket company founded by the entrepreneur Elon Musk, is keeping quiet about a plan to board the Earth and high-speed internet access. During a press briefing with Musk about the Falcon Heavy rocket launch, Business Insider inquired about the Starlink, a global internet network project is informally known to know available. Off topic, said Musk. Today's topic is Falcon Heavy. However, the secrecy is difficult for the SpaceX to maintain given public government's documents, leaks and incredible scale of its proposals. The company hopes to launch 4,425 interlinked broadband internet satellites into the orbit some 700 to 800 miles above the Earth, plus another 7,500 into the lower orbit. Musk's company has filed several documents with federal communication commissions related to an early test of Starlink, which involves the launch of 2 small telecommunication satellites called Microsat 2A and Microsat 2B. The FCC gave SpaceX FCC permissions for the test in November 2017, and the new document now reveals that SpaceX will piggyback the Microsat 2A and 2B onto its launch of the Spanish radar satellite called PAZ. The mission is slated to lift off from Vandenberg Air Force Base on Saturday at 9:14 a.m. Eastern Time of US aboard a Falcon 9 rocket, according to Spaceflight Now. Why the SpaceX wants to become an internet service provider? Here are some reasons to find out. SpaceX is looking to counter an increasingly competitive race to establish a fast, pervasive and affordable internet access. The company thinks such a market is worth tens and if not hundreds of billions of dollars a year, and will grow only more and more to people get online. The space-based satellite network that communicates with the cheap ground stations, thinking goes could circumvent the headaches and the expense of an on-ground technologies. The common challenges associated with the siting and digging trenches, laying fibers, and dealing with the property rights are materially alleviated through a space-based broadband network, said Patricia Cooper, SpaceX Vice President of Satellite Government Affairs, wrote in a May 2017 congressional testimony. A true global space-based internet network, if low-cost or provided for free to some regions, could solve the equal access issues by pathing the whole planet with 1 Gbps internet. The global average for the internet speed per user in late 2015, according to Akamai's State of Internet report, was 5.1 Mbps. That's about 200 times slower than SpaceX's target, with most of the highest speeds tied up in the cable and the fiber optic connections. In July 2016, legal filing, SpaceX also pointed out that 4.2 billion people are offline for a wide range of reasons, but often also because the necessary connectivity is not present or not affordable, citing a July report by UNESCO's Broadband Commissions for Sustainable Development. So, what is the mission for the microsats, which is piggybacking with the Spanish satellite with SpaceX? Musk first discussed the satellite constellation project in January 2015, later filing for an FCC applications to the best basics technologies that would support it at the time, said Musk. We are really talking about something which is in the long term, like rebuilding the internet in space. The goal will be to have a majority of the long distance internet traffic go over this network and about 10% of local consumers and business traffics. So that's still probably 90% of people's local access will come from the fiber, but will be doing and to do 10% of businesses to the consumer direct and more than half of the long distance traffics. Our 1738 active satellites are currently orbiting the Earth, according to a database compiled with a union of concerned scientists. In addition, roughly 2,600 dead satellites are likely floating in the space. But even factoring those in, SpaceX's planned fleet would be nearly the 3 times larger than everything around or already in the space. The new FCC document suggests that the test pair of the satellites will be sent to orbit about 318 miles above the Earth. By comparison, the International Space Station orbits the planet about 250 miles up. Once in orbit, the SpaceX will use the satellite to test the communication with a number of ground stations, including the mobile vans and stationary sites according to the latest FCC documents. The list of connections includes the office of Musk's electric car company Tesla, which sells the internet-connected vehicles. SpaceX's latest FCC filing also indicates that the company is working with partners in the Brewster, Washington, and Cordoba, Argentina, Tromoso, Norway, and Aurora in New Zealand for its broadband network test. According to June 2015, the story in the Washington Post, Google unfairly invested $1 billion in Musk's company in a part to support the project. So it's a good guess that if and when the network becomes functional, those companies would partly assume control of it. Google parent company Alphabet is also working on its own efforts to beam internet connectivity from the skies using satellite, balloons, and drones. SpaceX is not alone in the quest to dominate the global high-speed internet from space. The company called OneWeb is pushing to have a similar plan approved. According to the GeekWire, OneWeb was reportedly built up the alliance with Jeff Bezos and the upcoming aerospace company Blue Origin, as well as the Virgin Airways and the Arianespace of France. So what do you think of SpaceX's new testimonial to launching more than 7,000 satellites on the atmospheres of Earth to connect free and less and cheap internet for the peoples of the world? Will it work, or these are just publicity stunt, or he can do anything as of Musk sent a card to the space? Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.